Hello anybody watching, my name is Dylan and I like to build houses in The Sims 4. Today I am building for you the famous yellow colonial house from the show Family Guy. So this house ends up having 4 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, and it's built based on pictures and stuff that I found online. Built for Peter Griffin, his wife Lois, their 3 kids, Meg, Chris, and Stewie, and their dog Brian. It does end up having a fully furnished basement, or it will have a fully furnished basement when all is said and done, and a 3-season porch on the right side there. Right now I'm just trying to get the interior floor plan of the first floor done. I'm just adding some porches to the exterior there. This is the second time I've actually recorded this video, or at least the building part of it. I realized as I went to go edit the video that it didn't actually record anything that I did. It just for some reason recorded the my blank desktop screen. I don't know why it did that. So I had to go back and kind of redo the whole thing. What I ended up doing, instead of just blanking the entire lot, I removed the house itself and left the landscaping, which kind of worked out because landscaping is not fun to watch anyway. And it also allowed me to rebuild the house, but do so in a spot that was already positioned for it. So with the hedges around the house, it just made it a little bit easier, which I can definitely appreciate. On the second floor here, I think that's putting it on a foundation, trying to get the second floor together here. I tried to put flooring down before I put the rooms in because I thought it was going to make things go a little bit faster, but it ended up not doing so, because of course it didn't. Right now I'm just trying to get the second floor, the shape of the second floor going. It's pretty accurate to the show itself. I mean, that's kind of the point of this. The only thing that is different is there is supposed to be a bathroom on the second floor, and there is, but it's in a different spot in this house than I think the show has it placed. So in the show, I think the bathroom is supposed to be between Stewie's and Chris's room, and in the house here, I placed it between Meg and Chris's room instead. I think in the show that's where their bedroom closets would be, but in here I decided just to put it there because it worked out a little better. If I put it in between Stewie's room and Chris's room, it would have made the bathroom too small, and it also would have made Chris's room a little bit too small as well. This allowed me to open up Chris's room a little bit more, although now now you can never win because now Chris's room is a little bit maybe too big. In fact, Peter and Lois's room is also not necessarily significantly smaller, but it is smaller in this house than what is suggested in the show. And I also think they sometimes have a bathroom connected to that room. And sometimes they don't. These animated houses are kind of weird. Like, they don't really think the floor plan out that much, especially in early seasons of really any animated show. The floor plan changes wildly. And in Family Guy too, they have, they used to show the back piano room all the time in earlier seasons. Not necessarily all the time, but they showed it a lot more. And now they don't show it very much. Same with the 3-season porch. They do show the bedrooms a lot. So that wasn't too hard to create. But like I said, the shape of some of the bedrooms is not quite exactly how maybe it should be as far as the show goes. But when you're working with stricter parameters, in an actual game, you have to make do. So that's what I did. Like I said, I mean, the 4 bedrooms, they all work. They're all completely fine. It's just the Peter and Lois's room is probably a little bit smaller than it should be based on what is suggested in the show. That's all I mean to say. I used Get Together a lot on the exterior for the windows. I love Get Together, and in fact, you'll see once I start putting more exterior stuff on the house. I use a lot of stuff from Get Together. I remember when that pack first came out because I remember seeing other YouTubers building houses and building whatever with the stuff that came with that pack, and they were all using this column, and they were using this as trim for the siding, and I was like, what is that? I love to build. I need that because some of the columns that we have that people have been using for trim, they just ain't it. They're not working. They don't look right. And this is just the straight up, the white column, and I use it all the time. I don't remember what the colors were exactly when that game first came out, but I think they've added some new ones, and I use that in this house as well, even though there isn't trim that's shown in the TV show, but I decided to do that anyway just because it added a little bit more depth to the house. I do like, for houses that are being based on a TV show or a movie or whatever to look like that, to look like what it's supposed to based on the movie or the TV show. But I also like when people do a little extra and add a couple of extra things just to make it look like it fits in The Sims 4 as well. If I had not put any extra things on the exterior, the house would have looked kind of boring. So that's what I mean by that. Here I'm just putting in some doors for the house. I think I'm gonna. Yep, there's the yellow. It's kind of hard to see right now because of the way the lighting is in this game. Sometimes I think I had built this. It was morning in the game, and so it wasn't quite picking up, what it was supposed to look like. There's the columns that I love to add. I love those columns. I love pretty much whatever color they are, except for when you try to do like a dark brown. The dark brown on that column, that specific column, looks really weird and looks really red, and I don't like it. But I do like to use it when it's white. I love that so much. I also added on top of the door that little piece also comes with Get Together as well. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's like an overhang or something like that. But that piece really works. I feel like it was almost specifically built for this type of house, and I love it. I added some lights on the side there and added it there as well. That little room to the left is technically supposed to be the garage, but there's no point in building a garage in The Sims 4 because there are no cars that you can drive. So I think so this is really just a shell of a garage. It's open to the air. I guess this is kind of like another 3-season porch, you can almost call it. But it's technically supposed to be the garage. There I am taking some blinds from the base game, changed the color, and I made them a little bit smaller using the left bracket key, and I'm using those as shutters. In the TV show, they have, I think, yellow shutters, a little bit darker than what the house is in the TV show. Unfortunately, in The Sims 4, there isn't, there's no shutters that look like that or blinds, so I did have to make a little bit of a change there and turn it into a little bit orange. But it actually works out because it works really well, I think, with that door overhang and the columns that I used for trim, and it pretty much works out with the interior as well. I just like the way that the whole thing looks. Here I'm just adding some more lights to the first and second floor. I think the basement as well. I love those main lights that I'm using in The Sims 4. I think they didn't actually come with the base game when it first came out, but I do think they came in a later update. I don't exactly know when, but it's weird because these lights look a little bit outdated, but they also look like extremely what most houses have, which I really appreciate. A lot of times Sims 4 style will either be like super, super, super boring or like really, really weirdly out there, if that makes sense. And so I think this is a kind of those lights, they just work. They're neither out there and they're also not too boring, but it's just weird. I like those lights a lot. I use them all the time. I also use those sconces that I placed in between each of the lights there just to add a little bit more lighting, because Sims 4 is kind of weird when it comes to lighting. You really always need something extra. I love that blue tile in the kitchen. That it works perfectly there. I'm so when I first saw that, I was like, and I was building this house, I was like, oh my gosh, this works perfectly. This is like the exact tile that is in their kitchen in the TV show. I think the carpeting is not quite exactly right. There's the blue one, that bluish color, and then there's also a more green one. And I think in the TV show, it's a kind of a in between those colors, if that makes sense. But again, you just had to make do. If there was a color wheel, I would change it a little bit. But you know, it is what it is. Here in the basement, you can see where the bathroom's going to be. This is just some wood floor. I added some wood floor right where the stairs are as well, just because I liked the way it looked. I thought it looked nice. There's the 3-season porch. It's got some lights coming in. I'm coming to the end of the video here, just adding some more lights. There's the house. I'm going to do the interior in another video, but there is the house, and there is the TV show version of the house, very nice and yellow, and come on. There is my version. Alrighty. Keep an eye out for another video with the interior. Hope you like it. Bye-bye.